Please turn your sound on to hear full explanations of our answers. Thank you. Question is, why can't I last long in bed anymore? And the answer is, fears, anxieties, worries, and doubts have grown over time. Now, let me explain that to you. You say that you can't last long in bed anymore. This implies that you used to have no problem. Now, let me cast your mind back. Back then, you were almost like a different guy, at least in terms of your mindset. You would go in the bedroom, confident, not worrying about negative outcomes, and the only thing you were concentrated on was your partner and having a great time, and you just weren't thinking that anything could possibly go wrong. Now it's different. You go in there and you think that you're gonna have premature ejaculation, and you really hope it ain't gonna happen, but you kind of know that it's gonna happen, and you are almost fixated in a way on your worry, your fears that it's gonna happen. And this is actually the root cause of your problem. The fears themselves are what causes you to have premature ejaculation. It's actually a normal bodily response. It's part of the fight or flight reaction, that when you feel fear, lots of things happen in your body. Your heart rate increases, your eyes, your pupils dilate, your eyesight becomes ever so slightly better. You're more equipped to escape danger. This is the fight or flight reaction. But when you're actually having sex as well, think about animals in the wild. If they sense fear when they're having sex, the best thing for the man is if you can quickly inseminate the female very rapidly, and then both of them get the hell out of there, and hopefully she'll get away with his genetic material, and will, even if he gets killed, in a way it doesn't matter, as long as she gets away with his sperm and creates offspring, then he has fulfilled life's mission to procreate, to survive and replicate. Now, this has happened to you over time, that you have these now negative thoughts in the bedroom, that you have worries, you have fears, you have anxieties, you have doubts about your ability to perform. And these general themes actually often happen as people get older. It's the same reason why, for example, people get overweight when they get older. People get overweight. Don't believe the myth that people get overweight when they get older because they're not doing as much exercise. Because people aren't overweight in the first place because of a lack of exercise. That's one of the biggest myths that there is. People are overweight because they eat for comfort, because they eat when they're not hungry. Okay? There are some people who don't do any exercise and they're not fat. So it's nothing to do with lack of exercise. That's just a secondary factor. It's because modern life is a little bit crazy, and a lot of us have anxiety and fear problems. People are worried about what's going on in the world, the economy, about terrorism, about this and that, and you hear conspiracy theories say everyone is trying to be put in their place by fear, which when I first heard that I thought was ridiculous. But actually, when you think about it, in some ways it's true. A lot of people have fear. If you look at like places in the world like Bangladesh that get troubled by floods every season, these places come consistently high when they do when the UN does a happiness index, and these people, they're happy. Even though it seems that they don't have anything, they're actually very happy. They don't have all the iPads and the iPods and all these gadgets and all the silly little things that we have, but they're happy. Whereas in the West, many of us are unhappy, and it tends to get worse with age. That our own insecurities get worse with age, and this is, as I say, why people get more overweight, and they get other problems as well as they get older. It's the same thing in the bedroom. It's also, in my opinion, why most guys who were able to perform no problem for a long time, as they get older, they tend to have more general fears, anxieties, worries, and doubts, including in the bedroom, which leads to premature ejaculation. Now, the key question is, how can you get back to your original mindset? Because your original mindset, right, let me put it another way. Negative thoughts, fears, anxieties, worries, and doubts, these things can only occur if you're living in the past or the future. Now, I don't mean you're time traveling like Back to the Future. What I mean is, when you're in the bedroom and you're having all these things, it's because you're thinking about what happened before, and it's because you're worrying about negative outcomes in the future will be a repetition of the past. That is the problem. When you should actually be just enjoying the pure moment. If you got knocked on the head, like from amnesia or something, and you didn't know what happened before, but you still knew how to have sex, obviously, it's a pretty natural thing, then your premature ejaculation would probably actually be cured, because you wouldn't be dwelling on what had happened before, because you would have no recollection. So that is how the mind works, and that is how the body reacts. But that's how fear manifests itself, and anxiety manifests itself in the mind. That you need to start living purely in the moment and nowhere else. And if you think about it, the best sex that you can ever have, maybe the best sex that you have ever had, was probably where you and your partner were so into each other that it was almost like there was nothing else going on except you and her. And it was probably like, you know, right at the moment of peak enjoyment, and I don't mean an orgasm, but I mean like when you were really just having an amazing time, it probably wouldn't have mattered if you had known that the world was going to end tomorrow, because right at that moment you were having the time of your life. And that's a fact. The time of your life is always living in the moment. That's why these people in Bangladesh and all these other poverty-stricken countries, they have a great life. You know, they have it helps that they still have a lot of family, friends, and community, and they haven't seen a lot of the breakup that's happened in the West and in affluent areas, but they're living in the moment. I saw a video on YouTube with some guys jumping back, I think it was Bangladesh, and they were just jumping on a train, hanging out the side. You know, you see these, what we think are crazy people, like in India, they jump and they sit on top of a train, and we think, wow, they're nuts. But you know what? They don't think anything of it. They don't. We live now in the West in a kind of health and safety culture where we're always concerned that someone's going to slip and bang their head, you know, just because the floor is wet or something. Whereas in these other countries, we think they're crazy. But you know what? They're not crazy. They're not blowing all out of proportion the fact that some minor thing, that some negative outcome might happen, even though the likelihood is incredibly slim. They're too busy living in the moment. This is what you need to do. You need to get back into that mindset. And to do that from a bedroom perspective is, you know, using delay sprays or delay condoms or special positions in bed. These kind of tips and tricks are not going to do it for you. But what you need to do, I want to show you here, you need to use therapeutic techniques. And if you click on the URL, the link that I put in the description box below, if you click on that, it will take you to a site where one guy has helped thousands of men with premature ejaculation, just like you, who have, unfortunately, the wrong mindset. He's helped them get to the right mindset, to be cured permanently, so they don't have fear. And unlike guys using all these tips and tricks and crutches and delay sprays, those guys still have fear. They just don't, well, maybe they just don't have fear for like 10 minutes because they know they can rely on something. But if you follow this technique, if you click on the link down below, this will change your mindset completely so that you won't get that fear. It won't ever happen to you again. You'll be cured permanently. And I know this. I've seen it. I know this because this is exactly what I did many years ago to overcome my own premature ejaculation. And I've seen it happen here to many, many guys who reported back and said that it worked for them. So have a look down below, please. There's some great advice straight away. It will blow you away. It's a total alternative thinking to what you've heard before. And, you know, it's not even any point in me wishing you good luck, because you just won't need it, because I have every faith that this is going to change your life. So click the link down below, and I'll catch you again in another video of mine. Take care. Bye.